The Rangers were coming, and now they have came. After 24 games in the Scottish Premiership, they are now tied with Celtic, 58 points apiece at the top of the table. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Football, and Rangers have done it. They've beaten their rivals Aberdeen at Ibrox by 2-1 in a cold, wet night in Glasgow.
It was absolutely fantastic. VAR, red cards, yellow cards. Neil Warnock, 75-year-old. It almost felt like 75 years in extra time. But you know what? There's a lot to talk about. And let's go to minute uno.
Let's go to minute uno. But I want to talk about the strikers in this game. I think Miovski just again showing why he's good. He got one real chance in the match and he took it. Dessers had multiple chances, didn't really come close to taking any of them. And I think if you switch the two strikers around, if Miovski is a Rangers player and Dessers as an Aberdeen player, then the scoreline in this game is probably a lot bigger than 2-1. It's probably a lot wider. I think Rangers could have scored more than 2 if they had Miovski up front. And if Dessers was playing for Aberdeen, I think it's very debatable whether he would have done enough to, outmuscle Goldson and finish that chance that Miovski did just on the brink of half-time. So once again, I think Miovski proving that he can be a difference maker, and Rangers showing that maybe up front, on another day, this could have been a game they possibly dropped points in just due to not having that natural goal scorer. But we'll talk about the beginning of the game because Rangers got off to a very good start. 6 minutes in, 7 minutes in. A bit lucky, I thought, with the goal. We had a couple of deflections that bounced in Rangers' favour. Then it was it Rubicic? Not Rubicic. What's the other guy called? The big guy that looks like him at the back? Collins?
Garman?
No, the other one. Phillips? Jones? Anyway, one of the Aberdeen guys fell, slipped, and this allowed McCausland a lot of space, so he got a little bit closer to goal. He took a shot. I mean, the shot wasn't bad. It was on target, but it was a very savable shot, and to be fair to Roos, he did save it, but he saved it straight into the path of Matondo, and Matondo got an easy tap-in, essentially, to give Rangers the lead at that point, and it was just a really poor goal for Aberdeen to concede. I mean, if Roos can't hold on to it, then you've got to parry it out for a corner or parry it wide. You cannot parry it into the path of the on-running Matondo, because he was quicker than any Aberdeen player, and he managed to get an easy goal for Rangers, and that's not in the Aberdeen game plan. They would have wanted to frustrate Rangers just like they did Celtic a couple of days ago, and they weren't able to do that because essentially after 6 minutes they'd handed Rangers a win. Literally handed them, thanks to Kyle Roos.
Yeah, it wasn't a good enough effort for the goalkeeper. It's not a good look. Neil Warnock's come up, all this hype about him. He's probably took one look at that and went, fuck, the standard up here is really pish. But yeah. I rate Roos.
I rate him too, but I think he was questionable for both goals tonight. Maybe not as much the second one, but definitely this one.
There was a lot of other shots he left in the danger zone.
Yeah, this was avoidable. This was avoidable, and he should have done better than this. It didn't get much better though for Aberdeen, because in the first half they didn't really offer much. It was just one-way traffic. Rangers weren't super dominant. They weren't like creating chance after chance after chance, but they were in complete control of the game, and Aberdeen just weren't really getting a sniff. Miovski was isolated. They weren't really doing anything. Rangers had some chances. Tavernier put one wide for about the 25th minute. Matondo, great bit of skill, went on a solo run, took two Aberdeen defenders out the game, cutting in from the left-hand side, and he had bundles of space. He could have shot. He could have passed it to Dessers. He kind of didn't do either until it was too late, and then when he attempted to get his shot off, he was closed down again by the Aberdeen defender.
Do we think if Dessers was good, or was a competent striker, he would have actually passed it?
You've got to believe so, don't you?
No, I've got
the pass was on. So yeah, Matondo doing all the hard work here, and then just bottling it really at the end. And Rangers had a couple other chances. Dessers gave the ball away quite a lot though, just again proving that he's just not good enough. Has he been scoring goals? Yes, but you stick anybody up front for Rangers and they will score goals because it's fucking Rangers. They're one of the best, if not the best team in the league. So whoever plays up front for Rangers will score goals. But Dessers once again proven when it comes to big matches and you don't get as many opportunities, and he's just not good enough.
See, he's weird. I think he's got a touch of a trampoline he can't finish. But see, when it comes to close body control, he can take like 3 or 4 out of the game. We've seen it in the second half.
Yeah, nice little 1-2 turn with Cantwell. But speaking of second half, let's not get there yet, because first half, it's just halfway line. The ball's hoofed up from Connor Barron. I mean, there's literally nothing in this. It's kind of like a clearance, but he's not really doing it for his own final third. He's doing it from the halfway line. He just hoofs it up. I mean, the ball trajectory way into the air. Must have went about fucking God. Probably could have said hello to this ball. And it just lands up into like the edge of the Rangers box, and Goldson's just tussling with Miovski. Miovski manages to get the better of him, holds him off. Butland tries to come out and close the gap, and Miovski just dinks it through the arms of Butland, and out of nowhere, Rangers are 1-1.
Yeah, it's just not good enough. Goldson it's not just Goldson, it's the whole Rangers defence concede this. We've seen Suter earlier on at Ibrox this season. Kyogo does the exact same thing, apart from there's no one actually marking him. But Goldson has cost Rangers massive goals in his Rangers career. He's been a good servant, no one's denying that. But he is prone to a mistake. Some players are prone to injuries, they're prone to other things, but he is prone to a mistake. I think he is very consistent, but about every 10 games, he will produce a clusterfuck like this, and that's what it is. Aberdeen were mince, and if Rangers had a good number 9, they would have been about 3-4-0 up.
But yeah, I mean, can't take the finish away from Miovski. His only chance of the first half, and he took it. He held off Goldson, he put the ball past Butland. Top marks there for Bojan Miovski. We get into the second half, more huffing and puffing for Rangers. They had a couple of chances. Keller-Roos made some good saves.
Desser's missing them again. He hits a shot straight at Roos, and they're it's offside. Replay hits. It's not offside. So if he scored, it would have counted.
Again, in the build-up to this shot, Roos kind of parried it straight towards a Rangers player, so he needs to do better than that. Rangers kept on pushing. Then we see the goal, and again, the goal comes from a Tom Lawrence long shot, and Keller-Roos once again parries it into the danger area where Todd Cantwell's awaiting. And the goal just had so much similarities to the first one.
Yeah.
And not identical, but, close enough.
No, I think the problem is for me here, though. Yeah, Cantwell and Matondo give them praise for reacting here, but where's the number 9? Where's the fucking striker getting on the end of these? There's a lot of them all night.
And maybe instead of bashing Keller-Roos, we could ask where was the Aberdeen centre-backs?
Yeah, both times.
Why were they not responding quicker?
I think, though, I know I just bashed the new number 9 who replaced Dessers there, but I think Silva and Cortez changed the game. I thought when they came on, they did. They were able to waste time in the corners. And it looks like, I'm not going to judge Diamonde. I've seen a bit more of Cortez and obviously Silva, but for the most part, it looks like the 3 signings that Rangers have made are good. But Silva's not a goal scorer, and that's the only problem.
Aberdeen then made changes. Duke came on, and he looked a little bit lively. He got in and about. He was making runs. His pace at times was looking like it could potentially cause Rangers some problems.
And he should have been sent off, apparently.
Yeah, so he gets a yellow card. Honestly, can't remember what the first yellow card was for.
It was a
I don't think the first... I put it this way, I don't think the first yellow card's a yellow card. So he contests... And I know that's not how football works, but he contests a header against Goldson, and maybe there's a little bit of follow through with his arm, but it's completely unintentional, and he gets a yellow card for that. And there was a VAR check to see if it should have been a red, which is ludicrous. I'm not even going to ask the question, was that a red? Because
there's no intent. It can't be a red.
It clearly wasn't a red. But, probably literally 30 seconds after that, Duke's on the ball, and he slips, and he ends up bringing the Rangers player down, and he stops a counter-attack. Now, whether he meant it or not, we didn't see it, we didn't look at it, there was no replay. It would have been a second yellow, therefore VAR can't get involved anyway. And to be fair, inside the stadium, there was no Rangers fans really calling for it. However, if it was 1-1 at that point, I think a lot more people definitely would have been calling for it.
There was a bit of a cheer when it happened.
There wasn't that much, though. I know. Considering that there's a good chance this was a second yellow. Now we haven't seen a replay of it. We don't know if Duke just falls and he happens to fall into the way of a Rangers player, then I don't think that's a second yellow. But if Duke has tumbled to the ground and then he's purposely impeded a Rangers player to stop and break up the counter-attack, then that has to be a second yellow card. Referee, though, again, there was no VAR, and first time seeing it, he deemed that it wasn't a foul, or it wasn't a yellow, so to speak. So Dujon Sterling came on for Rangers, and he makes a pretty feisty tackle. He's late. He's very late, to be fair. And the speed of the tackle is a high speed tackle, but when you actually look at the contact, he's landing on the top of the guy's toes. It's not even, he doesn't even reach his leg. So
I think the day this is a red in football, it's the day the game's gone.
Like, see, when you look at it in normal time, right? When I first seen it in normal time, I kind of had the Gary Neville O, because it looks like a bone-crunching tackle, so to speak, because he's coming in fast. But when you actually see the replay, he's got his foot right down, his studs aren't showing, and he ends up, like, standing on the toes of... Who was it? Who's the Aberdeen player?
I think it might have been Barron.
Let's say it was Barron, so he stands on his toes, but... Yeah, definitely a yellow card. Not denying that. Super late, but I'm not sure this was a red. Like it was he came in fast, but he doesn't. His studs aren't showing. His foot's down on the ground. I don't see how this is a red card. And it went to VAR. Referee got called over to look at it. I think the referee was Andrew McLean tonight. Was it Andrew McLean?
No, it was Don Robertson.
Don Robertson. Anyway, Don Robertson goes to look at it, and at this point you're assuming they're all chanting, Rangers fans are chanting, fuck the SFA, but I'm thinking to myself, why are you chanting that? Because the SFA are going to, it's going to get overruled here, because he's going to the monitor, but he actually sticks by his decision, which is mental, because I would like to applaud a referee for standing by their decision, because sometimes I think they should do it and they don't do it, because they just don't want to be wrong, and obviously they feel like if their original decision is being questioned, then they feel like maybe pressured that they have to change their mind. But on this occasion, I would have respected him if he changed his mind, because I think changing his mind and just giving a yellow was the right decision. But he stuck by it and he actually produced the red card. So I was shocked. I did not expect this at all. Don't think it was a red. It changed the game, because it allowed Aberdeen to basically be on the front foot and attack Rangers, whereas I think obviously if it's 11 against 11, Aberdeen still needed to try and find a goal, so they would have been looking for it.
It's one of those tackles that's made in the first 5 minutes to set the tempo, so to speak. It's not a red. It's
very late. I think you need to accept that.
Yeah, but it's not a red.
I know, but you're making it as if it's like an okay tackle. It was a bad tackle, but I don't think it's a red.
Well, it was, but it wasn't high.
It doesn't matter. You can have bad tackles that aren't high. I'll defend it's not a red, but to say it's not a bad tackle's wrong.
Did I say it wasn't a bad tackle?
Oh, you've been kind of insinuating that it wasn't that bad.
I think you can get bad yellow card tackles.
That's what I think this was. I think it's a really bad tackle.
Who deserved to be sent off more, him or Duke? Duke for the Ivor incident.
Well, definitely not the first Duke. There's nothing in the first Duke one.
I think if Duke...
The second, I haven't seen the second one, so I can't really comment. Yeah. I think that's a yellow card. I don't see how it's a red. He's very late, but he doesn't even lunge. Yeah, he lunges in, but he kind of pulls out at the last moment. His studs are down. He's not got his leg outstretched or anything like that. His fucking studs are actually going into the ground, and he just catches Aberdeen guy's toes. It's poor. It's a poor challenge,
but need to make it.
It's not a red card. It's definitely not a red card.
Without VAR and he gives a red, fair enough for me. With VAR giving a red, I think it's ludicrous.
Yeah, so I don't quite know what happened there, but Don Robertson's Don Robertson, so he can explain that one. Aberdeen had a couple of half chances. We had Miofsky, ball played into the box by Duke. Miofsky tried to go for a nice wee back heel flick. It was good, and if it paid off, then fantastic. It would have been a great goal, but he barely got any contact on it, and it just trickled into the hands of Butland. And then a big talking point, bit of a scramble in the box a couple minutes after that, and at first I didn't see anything, but it turns out that on a second look there actually was a handball in the box from Connor Goldson. They showed us this on a replay a couple of minutes later. People are saying it's a penalty. I don't think it's a penalty. This is ball to hand.
Yeah, and it's also in his body as well. See, once he's lying on the ground, it's like...
I think this is similar to the Aberdeen handball in the first half. Not a penalty for me.
Yeah, neither are penalties. I think it's more of a... If you're given this, you're looking for a penalty.
I tell you, the cup final was more of a penalty.
Oh, yes.
So I don't think this is a penalty. And it's one of those ones where I think if he gave it, he'd have probably overturned it. But then again, who knows? Based on his decisions 5-10 minutes ago, he might not have. But nah, for me, this is a ball to hand. So I don't think. Plus, it wasn't even really hand. It was upper shoulder. He's so close to the Aberdeen guy who actually it hits his shoulder first, really, to go into Golden's. Nah, I'm not accepting it. This is no a penalty.
Let's just go into a bit of breaking news. Turns out Chris Sutton has said they're fortunate, Rangers, about the penalty handball And Chris Boyd has said, talk about clutching at straws. I'll be milking that. I'll be on that.
We'll discuss that at a later date, right? I mean, Chris Boyd, Chris Sutton, the two Chris's.
Apparently Joe Lewis wants to go up the road. He's not happy sitting in between them, even though he's sitting to the left of them.
We can discuss that in a separate video, but for me, it's not a penalty. I think he's too close. He doesn't have time to react. He doesn't have time to move his arm away from the ball. Plus, his arm is in towards his body. It's not outstretched. If his arm is outstretched and it's blocked the ball from potentially, getting to an Aberdeen player who could have got a tap in, then maybe.
I tell you what, see the second one? It's identical to the Alistair Johnston one at Kilmarnock, and they didn't give that. Where the Kelly guy shot and Johnson's hands literally blocked.
Well, I'm going to disagree because the Kilmarnock, that Celtic one, he stopped a goal.
What? Yeah.
Connor Golson's not stopped a goal here.
Yeah, because Butland would have saved it, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, Butland would have hit. Yeah, so I can get. No, it's.
Well, no, I haven't even seen the second one. I thought you were on about the second. Look,
I'm on about this.
You're on about the second handball.
This one here, where it gets booted and it clips his arm there, but Butland's saving it.
No, that's not a penalty. See, I think they say when it's your supporting arm, it's not a penalty.
But with Johnston, he was on the line and the supporting arm cleared it. I mean,
I think that's a bit different.
That's what I think.
Anyway, that will be discussed in a separate video because honestly, we could sit here for half an hour and discuss whether it's a penalty or not a penalty. I'm going to say it wasn't a penalty.
It wasn't a fucking penalty.
I'm going to say right now it wasn't a penalty. I will refute it and we will come back to this in another video, but for me right now it wasn't a penalty. So if I'm looking at the decisions let's just wrap it up. First of all, Duke had a free kick late on. It was very well struck, but it was wide. But I tell you what, for a minute I thought it was in.
It's one of those ones where the angle you're watching it from home,
deceiving.
Aye,
but it was a well struck free kick, but it was wide, and that was the end of the game. So I think the big talking points are first half, should Rangers have had a penalty? I'm going to say no. Second half, should Duke have been sent off? I'm going to say no. Should Sterling have been sent off? I'm going to say no. And should Aberdeen have had a penalty? I'm going to say no. So I'm saying no to everything basically here. I don't think anybody should be sent off, and I don't think any penalties.
I'm going to agree with that.
Should have been
unless we see the Duke incident and he actually pulls him down. But
we'll rewatch it and we'll come back and we will milk the fuck out of every single incident that went on here because that's pretty much how this channel runs.
That's how we roll.
But final thoughts here. Chris Sutton is having a meltdown just like all the other Celtic fans. Chris Boyd's probably loving it, and who knows? I mean, Rangers could actually go top tomorrow by not even playing.
Yeah, they could. But
could Hibernian do Rangers a wee favour? I highly doubt it. But you never know.
I mean, I was going to say I don't think it matters. I just think with Celtic, I think the only way is down.
You're going down. Anyway, Rangers won 2-1. It was a decent game of football. Neil Warnock's first game. It was exciting. There was some controversial moments as well. But personally,
good atmosphere.
I think the right team won, and I don't think the only decision I really disagree with was the Sterling one. But if I had to say it, out of all the decisions, if I had to say which one I think the referee didn't get wrong the most, I'd probably would go with the Sterling one.
Even though it's the one you think was wrong?
No, I think they're all right. Oh, well, yeah, I thought it was wrong, aye.
Aye, well, it works. I'll agree with that.
But I could accept him sending off Sterling more than I could accept him giving one of the penalties, because I don't think either penalty was a penalty.
Yeah, I'll put it this way, though.
And I didn't see Duke actually drag someone down, so I can't say that's a second yellow.
Say if you give Sterling a yellow, then he goes to the monitor. Do you think he upgrades it to a red?
No.
But that's funny how that works, so.
I don't think so.
So it's almost like, what's the fucking point of looking at the monitor then?
You know, I mean, I respect referees that stand by their decision, but I think he got that wrong. Anyway, guys, look, that's it. Rangers win 2-1, both on the same amount of points. We'll catch you in the next one. Nearly 20 minutes here. Like I said, lots of incidents to talk about, so we will look a bit more at the penalties. We'll look a bit more at the corner goals and handball and the Sterling incident, maybe the Duke if we can find it as well, but there's been no replays of it, so at the moment it's hard to tell. Anyway, that's it. We'll catch you in the next one. Celtic versus Hibernian tomorrow. Looking forward to it, but like I said, lots more reaction and fallout from the Rangers Aberdeen game. We'll see you next time. Till then, though, peace.